And what's also interesting is the Democrats being really hush-hush on the fact that they pushed Joe Biden out and said that you can now rerun, yet he's still sitting as our current president. And so that's why people did not trust Kamala Harris, because she literally forced her way in. Because had we had a primary, when she participated in the last primary in 2020, she only obtained 2% of the vote. So had we did a primary again, Kamala Harris would have not been at the top of our ticket. If we're being honest, the people wanted Mark Kelly. If we're being honest, the people wanted Shapiro. If we're being honest, the people wanted to feel the burn again. You know, people did not want Kamala Harris to be at the top of their ticket. And had we instituted a primary, we would have seen that, and whoever the Democratic Party did vote to be at the top of the ticket probably would have had a better chance at winning. Because at the end of the day, when we look at the popular vote, Kamala did do very well.
She did.
You know? And so if we had a candidate that more people resonated with, if we had a candidate that people could trust, then the Democrats probably would have taken this election. You know, and it's not because of policies. It would have literally just been off sensationalism. Joe Biden only won the first time because of sensationalism. Everybody swore that Trump was so bad and the world was over, because much like people were crying after this election, they were crying after the last one. Oh, we did it. Everything's going to change. And now people are crying because what? They can't fill up their tanks. They can't put food on the table. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't find a second job to make up for the new money that they all of a sudden have to get. They can't afford the childcare prices that spiked overnight. Like, these are all things that people are dealing with now. And she chose to ignore all of those things by saying she was middle class. What's middle class about having 2 doctors for parents? What's middle class about growing up in Canada and going to one of the best private schools that they have? What's middle class about any of that? And so trying to relate to the plight of people when you've never actually experienced the things that they're suffering through at the hands of your administration is why she lost. Not handling your duties as borders are. At the end of the day, you cannot deny the mess that's at the border. Yeah. And I think we had a lot of people not vote, not because of simple voter apathy, because we've been doing better these past couple of years, but a lot of people were conflicted. They can't deny their status quo, yet something in them told them they just couldn't vote for Trump. So they stayed home. They knew that staying home was basically a vote for Trump. But since they didn't physically cast that ballot, they felt better about their decision. Yeah. And so much like we saw with Stacey Abrams, there was a lot of sensationalism around Stacey Abrams. You have this Black woman, HBCU grad. She's everything. She's going to be the first Black woman, female governor of Georgia. She went and she registered all these people to vote. 600,000 people were registered to vote under fair fight. Why did only 180,000 of them go vote for her? It's all just sensationalism. People love to show their support online. People like to follow trends. People like to look good on social media. People are not actually about that action.
But what about, like, as a mother to a daughter, what about the history that, you know, having a woman president like that, like, what about that?
We can have a woman president, just not her. I feel like when it comes to her, just by looking at her interviews and her current performance as VP, because we can sit here and pretend like a vice president can't do anything. The vice president is control of the Senate. For those of you who really know government, the Senate is low-key more powerful than the president. Therefore, she had a lot of power to address a lot of the things that are affecting America. She chose not to. She was the tie-breaking vote on a lot of things that unfortunately hurt America. And she was proud of that and said she wouldn't change anything about it. So when you look at how could, you know, I be a mom and, you know, support this or not want this woman to run, she just wasn't the best woman.